Back Truth Seeker, August 23rd, 2018. This morning, the big news story was Donald Trump said that if he was impeached, the market would collapse and everyone would be very poor. And if you've been following me since 2015, even before Trump was president, I've been explaining that if Trump goes into office, it's all part of an agenda. And the agenda will be to divide the populace, stir up unnecessary chaos, create more division in our society, and then bring us to an all-time low, a planned collapse, Mr. Wall Street. And the night of the rigged selection, or actually in the early hours the day after when Trump was announced as the 45th president-elect, which was November 9th, the anniversary of the Berlin Wall, I said, here we go. Mr. Wall announces the 45th president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, the man from New York where Wall Street is. You know, Mr. Bankruptcy, Mr. Bailout. This is all part of a sick riddle, and I've been saying it many times. Donald Trump is here as a symbol for the planned demise of our society, or should I say the further planned demise. What Donald Trump said this morning is the planned agenda, and I've been saying, just watch. There'll be some incident that takes him out of office prematurely, and then the way everything is just contrived, they'll use that as an excuse to say, oh, now the market's spiraling out of control. It's just how it is all throughout history. It's not because Donald Trump's important or Donald Trump's helping boost the economy. Donald Trump's nothing but a puppet. You know, he's a sock puppet. That's who Donald Trump is. It's the people behind government, the people who run the banks, the people who control the media, the corporations. They're the ones that execute what really goes on in this country. You know, the market's their toy to play with. Our government elected officials, you know, they're their sock puppets. But let's review the things I've been talking about. So, Donald Trump, number 45, selected as the 45th president-elect, November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall 45. Donald Trump had his GOP convention in Quicken Loans Arena, and at the same time that he won the rigged election, there was a popular commercial on TV with Quicken Loans of Humpty Dumpty falling off his wall. And this was not a coincidence. This is the mocking. Humpty Dumpty in Gematria sums to 58. Like how Donald Trump won the 58th U.S. presidential election after announcing he was going to run from the 58-story Trump Tower after hiring 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. What's interesting is from Inauguration Day, which fell on a date with 58 numerology, 1 plus 20 plus 20 plus 17, January 20th, 2017, equals 58. From that day to today's news, with Trump making this claim, is 580 days later. 5-8. Humpty Dumpty. You know that nursery rhyme, right? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, had a great fall, couldn't put him back together after all, something like that. You know it. So, I'm going to come back to this emphasized phrase. Let's go right here. Donald Trump. And this is all in my book, too. You know, I talked about all this predictive programming for Trump to be installed decades in advance and where this presidency's going. But look, his campaign with his red hat, Make America Great Again, Gematria of 134. And at the same time that Trump was running for office, hit TV show about the presidency called House of Cards, which is a term for a market or a business that's on the verge of collapse. House of Cards, a TV show about the presidency. House of Cards 134. Think about Donald Trump's name. Trump, think about cards. The Trump card? You see, all of this is one big sick joke. The same people who control the world of entertainment, they're the same people who control your government. And you know, it's too bad my YouTube channel's been deleted a million times. I used to have a lot of videos from House of Cards showing how everything they do in that show is exactly like how it's done in the real news. You know, if you haven't seen House of Cards, they use CNN and everything. And they do everything in that TV show the exact same way they do it in the news on the daily basis. Contriving news by the numbers. No different. And understand, it's just as fictitious in House of Cards as it is on a daily basis. What we think is our reality or our understanding of reality is not correct. We don't live in a democracy. Our elected representatives don't really represent us. They're not really doing anything. You know, they're just stalling, going in circles, keeping us busy with nonsense while we miss the main event, that we live in a giant police state, that we suffer from taxation without representation. You know, these are the things that matter. But anyway, House of Cards 134, Impeached 134, his mail order bride Melania 134, Jared Kushner with the financial problems himself 134. Donald Trump, you know, they've joked that he's the first Jewish president. He was in Israel for Jerusalem Day wearing a yarmulke. Tisha B'Av is to remember the collapse of the two Jewish temples. The collapse of the two Jewish temples. The collapse of the two towers. Notice that Tisha B'Av equals 134, so does 9th of Av, and they mean the exact same thing. Tisha B'Av is the 9th of Av. Two ways to say the same thing. To remember destruction in the Jewish faith. And remember, in Jewish Gematria, Tisha B'Av equals 911, like the collapse of the two towers on 911. Netanyahu also has the Gematria of 134. In Hebrew, Benjamin Netanyahu equals 134. So, are you getting the picture here? House of Cards. Donald Trump says the economy would collapse if he was impeached. You know, his rocky relationship with his wife Melania. Jared Kushner, who's had nothing but a rocky road since he became a part of this administration. Tisha B'Av and 9th of Av have to do with destruction. Netanyahu, another character that does everything by the numbers, who represents who's behind this agenda. Again, this code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. It's important within the Jewish faith. It's important within Freemasonry. So for another commercial, you know, we talked about the Humpty Dumpty Quicken Loans ad after Trump had his convention at Quicken Loans Arena. And let's not forget that's where LeBron James played, who had the show Come Out the Wall. You know, Donald Trump, Mr. Wall. Both of those guys in the White House on the same day being congratulated for winning the NBA Finals and for winning the rigged election. Anyway, going back further in time, 2009, Serta Mattresses. Donald Trump did a commercial. Ends with this sheep right here saying, "Where is your dignity?" Which is a really weird line to sell mattresses. Where is your dignity? And you know what? In fact, I was watching CNN today, and they showed an interview with Jay Leno interviewing Donald Trump in 1999 about if he was president, could he restore dignity to the White House? And he said he absolutely could, and he would. This commercial, "Where's your dignity?" Donald Trump is your president, The Apprentice. Anyway, this commercial ends with Donald Trump talking to the sheep with number 9 on his side, saying, "Looking good, number 9, looking good." You know why they did that? Because if you add the numbers 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. Now look, there's 2 sheep on pillars in this hallway, and they have the numbers 9 and 11 on them, or 11 and 9, which should remind you of the 2 towers that came down on September 11th, where again in Jewish Gematria, Tisha B'Av equals 911. Anyway, coming back to that hit show House of Cards, the president's name in that show is Francis Underwood. Francis 119, Underwood 119, Star of David 119, Orthodox 119, All-Seeing Eye 119. Donald Trump announced as the 45th president-elect on November 9th, 11/9. Donald in Jewish Gematria 119. This is the same cipher where Tisha B'Av equals 911. Are you following me? Also in the base ciphers, Francis equals 47, Underwood 47, Trump 47, President 47. If you're new here, there's a longer list all in the base ciphers. White House 47, Government 47, Authority 47, Republican 47, Democrat 47, DC 47. It's how many degrees are on the compass in the Freemason logo, where Freemasonry has its headquarters in DC, and where Washington's named after the Freemason George Washington, and where the layout of DC was created by the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason L'Enfant from France, where France equals 47. Today in the news, stabbing story out of France. Propaganda by the numbers. Again. So, I just want you to see, in light of this code being so important to Freemasonry, and today's story tying in with an economic problem should Trump be impeached, in the 4 base ciphers, I want you to see how Freemason and economics line up. Do you see that it's a perfect match? Each cipher identical. Today's date numerology has a life lesson number of 42. 42. Big number with the Freemasons that abide by this code. And out of these 4 ciphers, the one that's the most important is this dark blue one. That's at least according to Manly P. Hall, the Freemason who exposed more about Freemasonry than any other as an author, and whose name also sums to 42 in this dark blue cipher. Manly P. Hall. This news coming August 23rd, 235th day of the year. Money problems, says Trump, if he's impeached. Federal Reserve, 235. The thing that does truly run this nation, the biggest bank of all, where it's no secret who sits on the panel that runs the Federal Reserve. Look it up. Same people who control your media. It's the same people that run this puppet show. August 23rd also leaves 130 days left in the year with the alphabetic order. Washington equals 130. Notice Trump's emphasized phrase up here. Everybody would be very poor. In that dark blue cipher, 130. Also, everybody would be very poor. The alphabetic order, 337, the 68th prime number. Donald J. Trump, 68. Donald John Trump, 68. Market, 68. 311, the 64th prime. Israel, 64. Zion, 64. 113, the number of the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Remember, Freemasonry sums to 58, like secret society, like United States, like Washington, like we the people, like a whole lot more. For a little history, the Great Depression once began by the numbers. Market crashed October 29th, 1929. October 29th is the day that leaves 63 days left in the year. Wall Street, 63. This code has been in use since the beginning of this nation. Everything about this nation's history has been contrived by this code. Everything. The Revolutionary War, completely contrived, undeniable when you know this language. And if you doubt anything I'm saying, pick up my book, Letters and Numbers. I priced it at $5 so you can't have any regrets, you know? I'll show you how every war that has happened in the time of this nation has started on a date and ended on a date that had to do with the name of the war. Undeniable. Meaning everything's a perfect script, meaning none of this ever had to happen. Everything that is done to us is a manipulation to control us. Government is here to control. This is how they control us. War, that's a mechanism for control. It's a mechanism for population control. It's a mechanism for creating narratives to divide people. You know, what do you think the Confederate versus the North was? You know, the Civil War. It's created a permanent, division in our culture. Divide and conquer. Order out of chaos. These are Masonic mottos. The only Confederate soldier with a statue in D.C. is Albert Pike, where everything about his statue is by the numbers. Albert Pike, the Freemason, he wrote the book Morals and Dogma. Morals and Dogma with the alphabetic order sums to 137, just like Washington, D.C., 137. In his book Morals and Dogma, he says Freemasonry owes all thanks to Kabbalah. Kabbalah is where this code of letters and numbers comes from. Kabbalah in Hebrew equals 137, which is the 33rd prime number, that big number with Masonry. Also, this story came back. Do you remember this story about the NSA worker, that supposedly spilled the secrets to the media, and the person's name is Reality Winner? This comes in the time of Donald Trump, the reality TV show game host, now as president. By the way, The Apprentice equals 211, the 47th prime, like how Trump equals 47. But them putting this 63 number up and this story coming on the same day with this Wall Street focus and, Trump saying the market would collapse, I just think it's interesting. And by the way, this person worked for the NSA. NSA has that Gematria 47, established in 47 by the 33rd President Truman. 47 degrees on the Freemason compass. The society that worships 33. Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33, federal 33. 33 pillars, each 33 feet tall, on the outside of the House of the Temple, the Masonic headquarters in D.C. And for another distraction, it's just like you can't spend 2 days on the latest Trump crisis, Trump news story. They just get washed away with the next thing. Now it's Trump versus Jeff Sessions again, and this news comes 70 days after Trump's birthday. Of course, Jeff Sessions in Gematria sums to 47, also 70. His latest beef with Jeff Sessions coming 70 days after his birthday. And, there's that Sessions 119. It's the same numbers are coded into all of these people that you hear about in the media day after day. These are the agents. By the way, the word agent equals 47. That's why there's that movie, Agent 47. Same people who control entertainment, control everything else about this nation. So... follow my work, you're going to be on the right path. The things I talk about, they just come true again and again and again and again. And for people who've been around, when I was talking about what the future Trump presidency would be in February of 2016, 9 months before the election, people saw that video. I was talking and the light bulbs went on in the room I was speaking on. And I never saw that happen again. I'd never seen it happen before. But it was like the world was saying, what you are saying right now is exactly right. And I don't know if that video is still on the web because my channel has been deleted 1,000 times since then, but a lot of people have been around that did see that video and got to witness how that happened. I was saying why they would install Trump, why he was the order out of chaos candidate, the direction of things in the nation, why he made the perfect amount of sense to install in light of the agenda, and poof, the light bulbs went on in the room I was speaking in. And I didn't turn on the light switch. That was a sign, So, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Till next time.